Hey, it's Clay, and this will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, October 13th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe we're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see down there will still be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of work. So stock number one here, ticker symbol OPGN. And an absolute train wreck today. Now, that is a matter of perspective. I mean, if you bought right there and were a scalper and you sold up there, then you had a fantastic day. But if you're someone that was, looking to try to play the momentum and you bought right there and you're looking to buy and sell, within a few minutes, then you got absolutely destroyed. Hopefully you had a stop loss in. But with all that being said, we now have a very ugly looking chart. But for those of you longtime viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. And that is that there can be opportunity in the ugly. And the opportunity in this situation, at least in my opinion, revolves around these moving averages here. That purple line being the 50-period moving average, that pink line being the 200-period moving average. And even if you just have a basic understanding of charts, I'm sure you've heard of both those levels and you know that they can act as support. Now, the keyword being not will act as support, but can. So my point here is it valid? Is it plausible to think that, okay, after this big, nasty move, that maybe the price comes down to that one and bounces, or maybe you're thinking, no, I don't really think the purple line, I think the 200-period moving average is where the bounce comes. Are both those scenarios valid? Absolutely. Does not mean they're guaranteed to happen. That's why risk management matters. But are those at least plausible, situations throughout there that a big move up, a nasty move to the downside, and then you get some sort of bounce off one of these key moving averages? To me, that is a very valid thought process. So if you like these sorts of, opportunity in the ugly situations, you like penny stocks, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one, SECO, and was a great looking chart, and not that the final 30 minutes right here has destroyed it, but it certainly kind of soured things because going into it, and what I was planning on talking about was there was this nice bull pennant pattern right here. But now you can see that the bull pennant has been broken, and with that break to the downside, quite a bit of a bigger move. So that's off the table now, and actually the first thing we need to map out is where the level of resistance would be. So if there is any sort of attempted turnaround, in my opinion, key area of resistance right there at $1.38. But once again, we have a case of essentially what I just talked about. This chart's starting to look pretty ugly, but the question is, can this get more ugly? More specifically, can it get up more ugly down to that 50-period moving average? And once again, I get it kind of broken record, deja vu here. Or maybe you think, well, no, I think it might get ugly down to that pink line there, the 200-period moving average, and bounce. So once again, to reiterate, will it for sure bounce off of those levels? Of course not. But is it valid? Is it logical to think that it potentially could? Absolutely. And I mean, look at this last 30 minutes. This thing continues to drop. So yeah, if you like these sorts of potentially opportunity in the ugly, keep an eye on this one. Next one here, TPST, absolutely crazy mover yesterday. And now we have a situation where, overall, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that level right there at 360 as a key level of support. I mean, check it out. Beautiful job of the chart. Doing a job of, showing where potential buyers might be. So that is basically the bottom part of the current sideways channel because nothing fancy. After the nasty gap down today, the price essentially has started to go sideways here within this range, which leads to the question, okay, well, what range? Can you define the range? And yes, with charts, that becomes very easy. So the bottom of the range right now, or bottom of the sideways channel, whatever you want to call it, right there at $3.60. The other level at the top is just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So in other words, the top of the range, the top of this channel is right up there at $5.92. So really at this point, it's just a question of who's ultimately going to win this battle. Are the bulls going to win the battle with a break back to the upside, or are the bears going to win the battle with a break to the downside? That remains to be seen. But if you like these sorts of sideways channel patterns, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, PRZO, and this one is more so kind of a bigger pattern. Now, to be fair, you could definitely do something like this in the very near term, talk about not the prettiest looking bull pennant, but there is, a little bit of a move, consolidation right here, but I'm going to take more of a bigger approach here from the pattern standpoint and look here more at this trend line right there, which I mean, the power of charts, let me bring that down. There we go. You can see that has done a good job of being within the vicinity of some previous areas. So you can see right there, and then of course right there. So a lot of people, you got to think of drawing that trend line or something very similar to it. And I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So as I've said, but it'll probably say another dozen times, there are no guarantees. But is it plausible to think that if the price goes up to that area and then gets a break up through there, that break could create additional buying pressure? Absolutely. And then on the flip side of things, as far as more so the overarching pattern, I personally like that trend line. I think, that makes a lot of sense to keep an eye on that. So I'll change that to the color of support. So keep an eye on that. So really from a, big picture point of view, we have this big wedge pattern that has formed. So there's the top of the wedge, there's the bottom of the wedge. And once again, it just leads to the question of who's ultimately going to win out. Do the bulls win out or do the bears win out? Let's see what happens moving forward. Next one here, AMC, and very, very impressive move today, especially all things considered, specifically how bad it was for the overall markets. I mean, the overall markets went through that period this afternoon where they just went down and down and down, and this thing overall has continued to trend higher, and as I speak, it's pushing up there towards those highs. So overall, very nice day here for AMC. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. But first update, as you've already heard me say, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So if there is any sort of pullback now moving forward, $10.50 will be that main area to watch. As far as areas of resistance, got to squeeze things down. Always a good problem to have when you have to start to go back into the... I'll pause it real quick so I can go try to figure out where it's at. There we go. Sorry about that. Good problem to have, though, because we are going way back on the charts history with the next key area of resistance now being right up there at $11.70. So does that mean that on Friday it's going to shoot straight up to $11.70? It does not. But like I said, we're going way back here into, what was that? Yeah, early September. Last time the price was up around that area. So been a while, but this thing has continued to form a very, very nice uptrend after it went through this longer consolidation and now has just started to put in those higher highs and higher lows, and that's what you want. So as long as the price continues to do that, that is by far what matters most. Real quick, want to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online web class that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box, or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free class. Next one here, ticker symbol VS, and I should have put this at a different location because it's that same general idea of opportunity in the ugly. And yes, again, another very, very ugly chart. I mean, to think. So, I mean, this is a true story. There were some poor souls that were buying there and buying there and buying there, and then people that were buying the dip and buying the dip and buying the dip. Hopefully those people are using stop losses because what an absolute ugly looking chart. But we have the same general idea, and you can see the price is getting oh so close now to that pink line there. 200 period moving average. So I'll say it just very quickly. Does that mean that it's guaranteed to bounce? No. That's why risk management matters. But is it plausible that you could get some sort of bounce from that area? Absolutely. So if you like these sorts of opportunity in the ugly, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and overall rough day. But to be fair, like I said, overall markets had a pretty rough day. But we got a couple key levels, so now watch moving forward. So yes, this area up here at the 269 mark remains a very stubborn and very annoying level. But I would say the more near-term and more relevant level of resistance is now going to be all about that purple line there, 50 period moving average. Once more, just based on that principle that when levels of support are broken, and as I pointed out in the past, you can't see that's behind my ugly mug. But anyways, you can see right there, this general area has provided support multiple times, including today, but when that level was finally broken, that's what we return into areas of resistance. So yes, up there 269 is indeed a level of resistance, but before you put too much emphasis on that, price first needs to prove itself by getting above that purple line right there. As far as areas of support are concerned, really nothing fancy here, just a question of where did the bleeding finally stop today, and that was down there at the 256.50 mark. So 256.50 will be that main area of support to watch moving forward. But yeah, rough day here for Tesla. Next one here, ticker symbol PLTR. And the first thing I want to do is just adjust this trend line up. I've been following it, and I think it might have bounced beautifully off that. Oh, close. So close. Right there, if you look, put on your magnifying glass, or you don't put on magnifying glass. If you grab a magnifying glass, technically it didn't quite hit it, but I think we can all agree it got very, very close to it. And this will mean a little bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but I put that trend line in place. I talked about it as a key level to watch, and I'll turn that into a quick plug. Get signed up for that free training that I talked about. I mean, Are charts perfect? Nothing is perfect, but are they a valuable tool? Absolutely. So get signed up for that class, and you'll start to be able to learn way more about why they're rational and logical to use. But more of the story, that trend line there has been a level of support. You would want to see it act as support. That's what happened today. And moving into the future, you continue to want to see that level act as support. And then on the flip side of things, still have this level up here at 1830 as that main area of resistance. Got somewhat close to it right there. But all things considered, again, I'd say a good, healthy day. Markets got destroyed, but this one, yes, it did pull back, but it's hanging in there. It's well within the pattern. It's not like it violated any of these trend lines or anything like that. So it's taking shape for a very interesting Friday. Next one here, AMD, and this will mean a little bit to more of those that watch past videos, but if you did, hopefully remember me talking about that level right there as support, and you can see that it did indeed come down. Now, to be fair, the price actually dropped down through it temporarily, so for anybody that was getting bearish, that was a cruel trick because then the bull showed up and said, oh, just kidding, and back up it went. So support-wise, 108.20 is going to be a key level. But no, actually, what I'm going to do is actually adjust this level down some just because we have more data right around that 107.50 mark. And that might be more of an accurate level at this point because when you go back to the history, you can see right there, support. A bunch of times right there, support. And then that right there, it mapped as support. So 107. Now, the level that I just talked about, that's still a support, but just kind of because I don't want to put lines everywhere and risk creating clutter and confusion. But 107.50 makes a lot of sense. And then as far as areas of resistance are concerned, yeah, the price did push up through that journal area right there at the 110.25-ish mark. But I think that's going to be the main area. Now, I realize that a couple times the price didn't quite hit that. Then other times the price went up above it. But the 110.25 mark, just trying to find kind of a middle ground because it does seem like there's sellers and quite a few sellers hanging out right around that general area. But overall, chart held up fine. Pulled back, yes, but still is working on building higher bases, and that's what matters. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market is going to go up, this one will also go up. It just allows you access at a much lower price point, which makes for a very popular ETF. And all things considered, and this will mean more to those of you that watch the previous videos, but again, the power of charts, hopefully you remember me talking about that line right there, which sits at 38.45. And I mean, the power of charts, price came down here, did break down below it, but then you got a beautiful hammer candle. So hammer candle right at that area of support. And now you got a nice little bounce, which segues into the next big question mark headed into Friday. Is this bounce going to continue and go back up to that area of resistance right there at 39.35, which segues into the next and exciting question. Can the price actually break through there and keep on moving and potentially get up there to those resistance levels that were hit today? And those sit up there. In fact, I should probably get those mapped out because I would consider them pretty significant. But the next level of resistance right up there at that $40 mark. So $39.35, and if the price can push up through there, then $40 is going to be a level that everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching because, yeah, that one definitely sticks out like a sore thumb. Look at all those times it attempted and could never build any sort of momentum. But, again, overall market did pull back. Therefore, this thing pulled back. But it's working on grinding that higher base. You're getting a bit of a bounce, so let's see if that carries into Friday. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then definitely get signed up for that free live class. It'll be next week, Thursday, October 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, first off, thank you, because I always ask for comments and, like buttons, and a lot of you the past couple have the comment section has grown, which is good, but let's keep that up because it helps with the algorithm, it helps with the channel, and, it just helps to communicate to me that you are enjoying, and as long as I know that you're enjoying, I'll continue to put in the required time and effort to get these watch lists out to you. So again, hit that like button, leave a comment below, even if it's just saying hi or a watch list or what you traded today, because those two things really do help out. And again, go get signed up for that free class. Thanks for watching. Take care.